All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I seen this post where, I guess, Money in the Bank. It was supposed to be a pay-per-view involving Travis Scott. For those that don't know, if you're a I feel like a wrestling fan, they're gonna know who Travis Scott is. Like, especially all the stuff he's been involved in recently. Yeah, you're gonna know who Travis Scott is. So I was gonna give out an introduction for him, but it ain't needed. But I guess if you was like, no, wait a minute, I don't know, because that's one thing that I'm trying to figure out if people are being serious or not. If if you go on Twitter and then they have like their AI software, and then somebody will post like, oh, Travis Scott was supposed to be involved in Money in the Bank. You'll see where people will leave tweets underneath that post talking about who is Travis Scott, or they're asking Twitter's like AI bot thing, and I'm like, man, I really hope them people be trolling when they do that. Cause it's like, to me, it be tripping me out. It's like, I get if it's like a name that don't nobody really know about, but like, come on, bruh. Even if you don't really listen to rap music like that, you've done heard of Travis Scott. Like, I refuse to believe we just walk in the face of this earth. And then we got, maybe the older generation, but not the younger generation. It ain't gonna be somebody the same age as me and not know who Travis Scott is. All right. So whether you listen to heavy metal, rock, country, I'm trying to think of some other genres out there. I feel like Travis Scott, I feel like he's been involved in the EDM scene. Like, I feel like there might have been some people out there that remixed his songs. But anyways, you're gonna know who Travis Scott is. But I guess, to give out a little introduction real quick. So he's an artist. Probably one of the biggest artists in the world right now. I wouldn't say of all time, just in this current time zone, But anyways, he was supposed to be involved in Money in the Bank. And with the controversy surrounding R-Truth, or Ron Killings, a.k.a. R-Truth, overall, all the Travis Scott stuff was scrapped. I guess they came out with merch. What else? Yeah, he was going to have like a big part of the show. And then, with the R-Truth stuff, he, did pretty much, he single-handedly scrapped all that stuff. So I seen a tweet where somebody, I guess, was trying to make it seem like that R-Truth, he shouldn't have had this spotlight over Travis Scott, because Travis Scott is the much more bigger superstar. But when you're thinking of somebody, a like wrestling legend, and you could just replace R-Truth with any other wrestling legend and have it where they have a spot in any wrestling show whatsoever, whether it's Money in the Bank, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, a random episode of Monday Night Raw, random episode of NXT, even that show Evolve. It doesn't matter who that wrestling legend is. If the crowd wants it, WWE is going to make it happen, and I guarantee and I promise you it's going to happen over Travis Scott making an appearance. Because here's the thing, you'll see where a wrestling legend will go to Evolve, NXT, Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown. I'm trying to think of some other, the pay-per-views, some social media stuff. You'll see where and it'll be from like the WWF era, WCW era. You'll even have it where it'll be some TNA Impact legends that'll show up on wrestling before Travis Scott. But you gotta think about it. Travis Scott is probably like, I can make all this money doing these tours, coming out with albums, doing features, all this other stuff. I don't know how much money he's being paid to do guest appearances on wrestling, but I imagine it ain't going to be as much as the money that he's made throughout his career. So when you sit down and you think about that, of course he's not going to show up to no wrestling event. But when you throw in a wrestling legend in the mix, now let's just kind of take a trip back down to that time frame of when R-Truth, because I remember when he came out and made that tweet saying that he's been released from WWE, and even I was shocked. And that was a tweet I remember saying that if Vince McMahon would have been in charge, that never would have happened. I 100% agree with that. I think if Vince McMahon, like, let's say if all the stuff that he went through, like, it never would have happened and he still would have just been the same wrestling legend that he is, I guarantee and I promise you R-Truth wouldn't have been released. They would have figured out something to, meet with this contract stuff, but he wouldn't have been released. So when that information had came out, I was shocked. I was like, there's no way possible that they just gonna let go of R-Truth like that. There's no way possible. Like, you felt this dark cloud just appear over wrestling, because sit down and think about all of the memories that are true from, because I still remember when I was a kid. Like, I think it was the same year when I had got back into wrestling. Hold on for a second. Or not got back into it, or got into it for the first time. Let me rearrange some stuff on my table because I keep hitting this controller thing. But anyways, yeah, let me look up his name real quick because I think it was 2007. Why can I not type? Dang, bruh. Like, just trying to type up R-Truth and I keep typing up the wrong letter. Okay, here we go. So I think, so there's like World Wrestling Federation, okay, and then there's like NWA, Total Nonstop, and so, okay, so there was that. Return to, was it 2008? I guess it was 2008. So it was a year after. It was a year after I had got into wrestling. And I remember when they were showing all these promos for him and stuff. And I'm like, huh, okay. I didn't know who R-Truth was. Like, I didn't know how much of a legend he was. Then when he very first came into the scene, I was like, this man can rap. Like, this was like my first year getting into wrestling, so I'm over here like I knew that John Cena could rap, but I'm like, this man can rap, wrestle, and do all these crazy, I'm like, fan, like, do all these crazy moves and things, and I'm like, bruh, this is crazy. The years went on, and I honestly forgot that, like, no, like, I'm not even lying when I say this. I honestly forgot that R-Truth was aging because he hasn't changed. Like, yeah, he changed. Like, I think when I remember when he very first kind of like appeared in the scene and stuff, like, he, you know, he would like just go, like, he'll rap, say what he needs to say, do his stuff in the ring, and then he dips. Like, you know, he show up, give us a show, and dip. And then he changed where he kind of started acting all crazy and stuff. Like, he had that, like, that heel turn where he turned on, I think, yeah, by that time they were calling him John Morrison. But I remember when they was like, he went through, because it was ECW, I think, when he made that name change. When they brought it back, like, that second time around and stuff, and then ended it, I think, what was it, like, Ezekiel Jackson winning the championship, something like that. But anyways, that's a wrestler where I'm like, man, you know, I would like for him to kind of, like, come back, do some stuff and things. I feel like that would be interesting, see how that goes. But anyways, but yeah, I remember when he had that heel turn with John Morrison, and then after that, then that's when he just started acting all crazy and things, and it was like, bro, this man's losing it. But still, though, it was entertaining. Then he was just playing this whole comedy act, and he was playing that comedy act for years, where I'm like, fam, I'll go back and watch, like, old wrestling moments with him involved. Like, I think there was the one where it was like after Roman Reigns had left the or not left the Shield, but when the Shield had disbanded and things. So, like, post Shield, you know, seeing it all the way back then, and I'm like, dang, bro, like, that was some time ago. I'm like, man, that's insane. It doesn't even feel like it's been that long ago, you know, but it has been and stuff. So then you, like, just look throughout the years, and it's like, wow, this, you know, he's been in the business for a minute, and every time when he goes out there, it's either him doing something in the ring that's good, or him cutting a promo where he's saying something funny. But overall, at the end of the day, it is going to be good. Then, of course, with the 24/7 championship moment, that era and things, you know, quick era, but he carried that title. You know, like, I feel like if it wouldn't have been for him being involved with that title, it wouldn't have been as good. They probably would have got rid of that title a lot longer, or a time before that they did decide to do it. So yeah, when you sit down, you think of all the stuff that R-Truth has done throughout the business. I'm like, man, you know, then you wake up and you see that news that he done you know, got released. I'm like, nah, bro, you know, there are some wrestlers where it's like, okay, you know, they get released, you feel a certain way about it, but you're like, hey, you know what, they'll do better elsewhere. You know, it's like whether they go to TNA, New Japan Pro Wrestling, what else, AEW, you know, like they'll do good somewhere, you know, like they ain't gonna be the end of it. R-Truth, on the other hand, it's like, man, y'all can't do that. It's like, you cannot do that and then think like, oh, okay, the crowd's gonna be okay with it. No, we are not. I guarantee and I promise you, if there was a name attached to that releasing, and let's say that person was to come out the next day in front of the crowd and, you know, try to explain themselves, it wouldn't. I'm trying to think of the craziest time. Even the boos would have been louder than Dominic Mysterio. What else? That time when Elias, he was out here in Washington, and he made that comment about Seattle not having a basketball team. I'm trying to think. Vicky Guerrero. what else? Them boos would have been, and they would have been genuine boos. They wouldn't have been like they're like, oh, we're just going along, like we're just having fun and stuff, like with Dominic and Vicky Guerrero and stuff. No, like they would have been genuine boos to where whoever that individual would have been, it's like they would have had to leave, like not just leave the ring. No, they had to leave the whole arena. They were like, nah, bro, you gotta go, you gotta dip. Cause that to me, that's something that I still don't understand. Why did you guys think that would be a good idea? Like, that would be my hard-hitting question to whoever it was that decided to pull that trigger. Like, why did you think it was a good idea to release R-Truth? Like, that's, I'm trying to think of, like, that's like, I'm trying to think of, I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily call him like Steph Curry, but I feel like that, he has an important, Steve Kerr, okay, yeah, let's say like he might not be Steph Curry, but it's like, yeah, let's say Steve Kerr, the coach. That's like, yeah, the Golden State releasing Steve Kerr. Or I'm trying to think, the New England Patriots, releasing like back during that time, where I'm trying to what was that one guy's like Rob Gronkowski or something like that? No, I don't think that's his name. Hold on, New England Patriots Rob. No, yeah, oh yeah, no, it is. It is Rob Gronkowski. Okay. So I was like, I feel like I messed up on that last name. But yeah, that's like the New England Patriots releasing him. Like, like in his prime and stuff. Like, it'd been like, bro, why would you guys do some stuff like that? Like, he is a key player to the team. Just like R-Truth being a key wrestler to WWE. You just don't do stuff like that. You don't release somebody when they're good. Like, it's like they haven't had a bad moment. Because that's what I would like to know. When did R-Truth have a bad moment? Because even when he kind of had like a brief small moment where he was it wasn't like it was leading into a match or anything, but he had to do a promo with there was like some form of a scene or promo, whatever you want to call it, but with Brock Lesnar. Bro, he had Brock Lesnar genuinely laughing. Like, him just being in the, like, that's something that you guys sit down and think about. Like, bro, Brock Lesnar is always being serious. He's always like, oh, I'm here to dominate. I don't care about nothing else. Like, he ain't there to have fun. Bro, he was having genuine fun with R-Truth. Look, my thing is this. I can say that, I can do this, and this when you put me in a wrestling ring. I could say that, I can, make a wrestler break character, laugh, all this other stuff. I feel like with Brock Lesnar, that would have been the ultimate test right there. Like, that's something where I'm like, yeah, maybe Brock Lesnar now, where it was like, yeah, now they're having fun. Brock Lesnar, I probably could get a chuckle out of him. R-Truth got a chuckle out of him before it was like long hair Brock Lesnar. Long hair Brock Lesnar, yeah, he was out there playing games with people. Short hair Brock Lesnar, no, yeah, he was serious about his. And so that's why I'm like, bro, R-Truth got him out of that serious comfort zone, and he had that man laughing. So that's why I'm like, and if there is anybody, like, let's say if I did want to get into the wrestling scene, there is anybody that I would take advice from. I mean, obviously I'd take advice from any wrestler, and it even be like somebody, a referee or something. But R-Truth would be somebody where I'm like, nah, bro, like if he tells me some stuff, I'm going to listen. Like, I'm going to make sure that I take a hold of that information and I carry it with me throughout my career and stuff. I'm not going to be like, oh, nah, like, I'm just like, I'm not going to hear nothing that he has to say and things. But, and then I remember too, like, when I think he had like a brief run in NXT and he had an injury. Hold on for a second. Let me see when that had happened. Various storylines. No, that's not it. When did there was like, he had that injury after a year of okay, so there was like in later part of 2022, R-Truth made several guest appearances on episodes of NXT. On November 1st episode of NXT, he suffered an injury in a match against Grayson Waller, which was expected to leave him out of action for a long time. And fam, like, he showed up the very next year. And so that's why I was like, it's, you sit down, you think about stuff like that, and it's like, oh, then when he was having his run with the Judgment Day and stuff, yeah, you can't tell me that R-Truth, like, his releasing was justifiable. So overall, when you're comparing him to Travis Scott, you're comparing somebody like you. I'm trying to think of like how can I put this in an example. Pretty much, it's like he belongs. R-Truth belongs in WWE. Now, I'm not saying that Travis Scott doesn't, but I'm just saying that I feel like R-Truth has more of a place. He has more of a place in wrestling, and Travis Scott has more of a place in music. So I guess like if let's say it was like Rolling Loud or something, they got rid of Travis Scott to have it where R-Truth had made head or was gonna headline the show, then I feel like that's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't, not saying that R-Truth makes bad music. I've listened to his music. His music is good. But when you're comparing it to something like Travis Scott's music, that's like comparing Travis Scott's wrestling ability to R-Truth. We ain't gonna pay money to see no Travis Scott at no Money in the Bank. So that's why I'm like, yeah, you seen where people were going crazy when they had had it where R-Truth had came back, because even I was shocked when he came back. That was something that I wasn't expecting. And then for him to go up against John Cena, I'm like, yeah, that's some wild stuff, man. But yeah, then let's say if Travis Scott, like, yeah, people probably would have went a little crazy over it, but I don't think they wouldn't have went as crazy as they did with R-Truth. So yeah, I'm like, my thing is this: Travis Scott has more business in music, but R-Truth got more business in wrestling, and I feel like that business it's gonna stand a lot more than Travis Scott. Yeah, Travis Scott, you know, he might have some of his fans that show up to wrestling to see, you know, I guess if they're trying to bring in new fans, then yeah, of course, you know, then. But I feel like there needs to be a time and place for Travis Scott. Having it where it's like, you know, and I think like having it where how it should have been done. Yeah, R-Truth, he still has his like pay-per-view moment because people are gonna pay money to see that. But if you want people, I guess, new fans, it has to be like stuff like Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, and maybe like them lower end like pay-per-views and stuff. But you can't put Travis Scott over R-Truth. That's just, yeah, that's a no can do. So, but anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube. Follow, subscribe, viewing this on the podcast streaming service. And peace.